Who are you going to captain Thursday night, Reid? Let's just get right to it.
Yeah, I think in these matchups too, when you see, such a what we think is going to be a high scoring game, Dallas's defense, they get Micah Parsons, they're bringing Keanu Neal, but still, I'm not convinced that this defense is anywhere near a defense like Tampa Bay's. And look, Dallas is going to be out one of their offensive linemen, so that's definitely going to hurt Zach Martin. He's not going to be playing; he's been officially ruled out. That doesn't scare me off of a guy like Zeke, even though he's 14-4 and he's going up against arguably the best defense. Right, from last year to this year, I think it's hard to maintain that type of level of continuity and productivity. But if I'm going with captain, I mean, Dak Prescott, even though he's 15-6, like I don't think a lot of people are going to go there, and rightfully so, right? Because Tampa Bay's defense. I don't mind going with Dak Prescott coming out guns blazing a little bit against his Tampa Bay defense. I think if you pair him with a guy like CeeDee Lamb, or even putting CeeDee Lamb in the captain spot at 12-3 if you want to save and try and get both of these quarterbacks in this matchup, I don't mind that at all. So I'm trying to lean heavily on Dallas, just if I'm trying to win, take down a million maker in showdown, because a lot of people are going to be scared and they're going to go opposite and try and get guys on the Tampa Bay side, like maybe even a Gio Bernard, for instance, right?
Ooh.
The third down back. In Tampa
like a value play kind of strategy there?
We'll get to that in a little bit, but Gio Bernard could be the James White, the James Blanco in Tampa Bay right now, right? He could be that guy. We know how much Tom Brady loves his pass catching running backs. But for right now, I'm going to go a little bit more chalky, and I like either doing Prescott or CeeDee Lamb in the captain spot.
Geoff, how nervous are you, though, with the strategy taking a Dak or a Zeke? No Pro Bowl guard Zach Martin there.
Yeah. Okay. So Reid is definitely onto something. I mean, Tampa Bay, obviously big favorites, over 8-point favorites now, 8.5 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. They got a 30-point implied team total. That's good. The bad part about Tampa is they spread the ball out a lot. So Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and even Antonio Brown, they kind of just get equal billing. Like, we don't have someone we can sit and say, okay, Tampa goes off, this guy's scoring a ton of points, except maybe Tom Brady. I kind of like the quarterbacks here, especially if you're looking at Tampa side, because, they even split carries at their running back position, like Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. Good luck guessing who is going to get the work there. Ronald Jones was heavier involved last year at the start of last year, but then we had Fournette end the year as the RB1 in the playoffs. I kind of like Tom Brady. This guy's averaged 286 yards and 2.6 touchdowns in openers over the last 3 years. I think Brady, if you're looking at Tampa, is a fine captain's play. It's a lot, but again, we do have value plays. You can go down to Ronald Jones, Gio Bernard, Reid already mentioned. I am of the opinion, though, I would rather target Dallas as well. They're easier to target. You can, CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper, one of those guys could easily get 10 plus targets. They might both get 10 plus targets because Dallas is going to be throwing a lot at the end of this game. I don't think that, there's a ton of super interesting value options for captains candidates here, outside of maybe Antonio Brown, but I already kind of talked about why that might not be a fool's gold. I think CeeDee Lamb is kind of a good choice as well, Reid alluded to, but I think you got to pay up for captain here. And I do kind of like the Dallas side slightly better for that, all those reasons I just outlined.
All right, but you have Tom Brady. The headlines he's been making this week, besides getting the COVID vaccine or whatever that was, is he's so nervous. He won't stop talking about the number changes on defense. I don't know if he's legit pissed off about it because he won't stop talking about it, or if he's trolling all of us. Yeah, he seems very disgruntled. Like, I don't know who that is. I'm just saying, don't throw the ball to a guy who has a star on his helmet.
Yeah, I mean, let's read the tea leaves, Emerson. Let's read between the lines here. We all know that this guy is playing 4D chess. He doesn't need to worry about numbers and jerseys and blues and whites, shirts and skins. This guy is the best to do it. He knows exactly who he's passing to. He even knows that if he passes to the wrong guy, and like he mentioned, the defensive players, it's a lot harder for them to make plays, and it's up to the quarterback to protect his players. Look, Tom Brady knows exactly what he's doing, right? We heard on the shop as well that if he's going to attack a cornerback, he's going to talk them up, right? Like, this cornerback is really good, I don't want to go. And then he's going to pepper that cornerback with 10 targets. So I'm not worried about Tom Brady. He is a master at this stuff. Guy's playing 4D chess and everyone else is playing checkers.
All right. So Tom Brady is pretty expensive, bro. That is the most expensive captain. How about like if you're going to be spending all that money, Reid, you already mentioned kind of your stack strategy there for because you want to go Dallas there in the captain spot. You're going to need some value. Both of you mentioned a running back, and he's right on our screen right now. And I really like that mustache.
Of course you do.
I'm a big, yeah, of course I do. I'm a huge mustache guy. I've never had one, but I would if I could. Why do you like Bernard so much as a value play? Especially after Geoff said you don't really know which direction they're going to go in the backfield.
Look, I mean, he was getting third down reps all throughout preseason with the ones, Emerson. And I mean, what does Tom, I mean, that's why James White, when Tom Brady was there, a couple of years before he retired from New England, before he left New England, James White was a top 10 running back. Now, I'm not saying that's Gio's projection here or for the season, because it's going to take a lot for him to do that, right? With Leonard Fournette and Rojo there. But in this matchup, if we're going to project this as, Tampa either being up or down too, right? The game script kind of caters towards a guy like Gio Bernard. And even with the high ankle sprain, look, and Geoff knows this information is too hot to handle. He's got to get up out of the seat. That Gio Bernard at $2,000. Look, and if you want to captain him, that's a little bit risky because we don't know what his snap count is, especially with the high ankle sprain that he was dealing with, in the preseason earlier. I don't mind it at all. You talk about a Tampa Bay offense too that, like Geoff mentioned, has so many places to go. What we do know though is that third down, this guy was brought in for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. If that's the case in PPR, I like him a lot.
He was brought in for a reason, and if you look at Tampa Bay, there's a way better case for fading the top receiving and rushing options. Like I'm talking Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, full out fades, Leonard Fournette, because you look from Antonio Brown down 5,600, Brown, Ronald Jones, Gio Bernard, even Gronk. Look, all the touchdowns could go to that group I just mentioned. And if Evans and Godwin stay out of the end zone, and Brown, Gronk, maybe Ronald Jones, maybe Gio get into the end zone, Brady could throw 5 touchdowns. None of them could go to Godwin and Evans. That's an actual possibility. If Dak comes out and throws 5 touchdowns, that's probably not going to happen. Like a couple of them are going to CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper. I feel very safe to say there's a far better chance that the touchdowns get spread. So the value options in Tampa, again, if you're going to captain Tom Brady, I like that play, but I like it better stacking them with these cheaper guys than I do trying to pay up for like Godwin or Evans with Brady, because I think there's just way more variability in terms of where the ball's going with Tampa.
Yep. How bloated is this line on the DraftKings Sportsbook? What is it, 8.5 now? How bloated is this though? Because the Bucs have all 22 starters back from their Super Bowl win, Geoff.
I don't know if it's bloated. I think it's more correct. I mean, 7.5 for Tampa. Again, we had the Dak Prescott news all season. You mentioned Tampa, the reigning Super Bowl champs, bringing back everyone. And then you have Dallas, who is just, their defense was a complete mess under Mike McCarthy last year. And sure, it's a new season. They brought in a new DC, but why was Dallas even getting that much respect? I think 8.5 is more along the lines of being correct. And even to take it further, you look at just Super Bowl champions records against the spread in week 1. It's very strong. So I think we're getting more Tampa was clearly the play to me at 7 or 7.5. I even at 8.5, I'm just not really inclined to just jump on Dallas here. I mean, yeah, we could get some good garbage time from Dak, but he's just a little bit rusty. If Tampa, gets the run game going late in the game, Ronald Jones could break a touchdown, and this could get so ugly so quick. So even at 8.5, man, I'd probably lean Tampa here. I'm just not interested in the Dallas Cowboys. I'm much more interested in the over of this game because I do like the over, but I'm not super interested in the Dallas side here.
Reid, how much interest do you have in, 8.5 points for the Cowboys? Because you see it being an easy victory for the dog, give him that many points.
Well, no. And if you take a look at just the stats here, Emerson, Tampa Bay, home field advantage now is probably 2.5, right? And then you get the fans back, right? Home field advantage last year wasn't a big deal because there was no fans there. It didn't really matter from a home field advantage standpoint, especially inside the 20s. It's going to matter this year because the fans are back. So you give Tampa Bay that 2-point advantage. And on top of that, if you take a look at Dallas, they're one of the most publicly bet on teams every single year. It's like the Cowboys, the Lakers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, right? Like that is enticing enough for Cowboys fans to be like, oh, Cowboys, now we got Dan Quinn, we got a new defense. Our guy is back in Dak. Like, oh yeah, plus 8.5. So that might be a red herring in terms of value, like you're mentioning. If you take a look at Dallas too, in week 1, the last 7 games in week 1, they're 2-5 ATS, right? Like they are historically slow starters. And at home, Tampa Bay, over their last 5 games at home, I think they're 5-1, or excuse me, they're 4-0 ATS in the last 4 home games. So, I mean, it matters for Tampa, and that's without the fans. For Tampa Bay, right? So it matters a lot. And you got Tom Brady coming in with every single body back from last year. Yeah, this is like, he knows what he also had this once in New England where they won a Super Bowl and then they brought essentially 95% of the roster back, their starting roster back, and they did it again. So he has a template on how to win, and it's hard to bet against even at this huge number, which sounds really, really weird.
It is kind of hard to look at Dak Prescott and not think, coming off 2 injuries, hasn't taken a game snap in 11 months. His first game is against one of the best defenses in football. I could 100% see this thing getting ugly, because it's not like Tampa Bay started hot last year, but they certainly ended it. And then you give them an entire offseason together, all the same dudes back, entire coaching staff is back. That's frightening stuff in a way. I still just look at it as 8.5. That's chunky.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's these alternate lines too. If you want to juice it up, like get Dallas at like plus 10.5. You got to lay some juice. If you want to do that, go right ahead. Because I'd be more comfortable doing that, and maybe getting like a teaser going. But like, I don't know, man. Tampa Bay right now, the way that, and now guys coming to Tampa Bay like a Geo, right? Like these players that can just fill in, and the depth of Tampa Bay. Right, it's not just their starting 22; it's the depth that they have. It's like the Rams have the good starting 22, but they don't got depth. The Buccaneers do. So even if one of these guys goes down, like another guy is going to come up. They got 3 tight ends deep, 4 tight ends deep.
What about touchdown scores? There's a fun little prop there. Because I saw in the DraftKings Sportsbook, someone out there placed $75,000 on Zeke Elliott to score a touchdown. That would win north of 100. The payout would be north of $140,000, which I did the math. I tweeted it out because I'm good like that. North of 30,000 boxes of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which is Zeke's favorite cereal. It's what he's eating in the meme where he's just eating. Feed Zeke.
I mean,
Reid, which one? Anytime score. Give me an anytime scorer on here.
Yeah, look, I mean, Zeke Elliott at plus 750 first score, anytime minus 120. Like, I wouldn't want to lay the juice on that just because we know how stout this Tampa Bay defense is. That's a little bit much to me. But like, look, I'm going, if I'm doing this anytime touchdown, because we know, Geoff, like this is touchdowns are so variant in the NFL, especially on the Tampa Bay side. We don't know who it's going to be. I'd rather stick to the Dallas side. Like, I'd rather stick to the Dallas side, but get plus money on it. I mean, you got CeeDee Lamb there at plus 150, Amari Cooper at plus 175. Look, let's not forget about Blake Jarwin. I believe that's how you pronounce his first name. Better known as Blake Jarwin.
That's how Clash pronounces it.
Yeah, Blake Jarwin. I think it's European, soft J. But, like, he's someone that got hurt in the first game, the first half of the first game last year. He's at plus 450. Are we sleeping on Blake Jarwin, Geoff? Maybe, but Dalton Schultz, 50-50 split in terms of targets and opportunities in the preseason. So
it's 50-50, but like, look, Blake Jarwin, I'm going to tell you right now, he's the far superior option.
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz was banged up a little bit too with an ankle injury in preseason. Blake Jarwin will be the I tell you this, whether you're still doing fantasy drafts just for betting purposes later in the season, Blake Jarwin's going to be the main guy there if he stays healthy. I guarantee it. He is a far superior pass catcher to Dalton Schultz. I love that bet. I like it a lot. Plus 450. Again, I don't know who was laying that much money down on Zeke Elliott, but Reid already said it. This is a terrible matchup to do it on, man. The Tampa Bay Bucs allowed 8 touchdowns last year on the ground to running backs. It's not very good. It was like the 4th fewest in the league. So I'd rather take Ronald Jones at plus 120 than Zeke to score a touchdown here. You're getting better odds. And look, Tampa Bay has a 30-point implied team total, man. They're going to be in the red zone in this game. Dallas was absolutely horrendous against the rush last year. In the red zone, they allowed 5 yards per carry. It was the third worst in the league. Ronald Jones outsnapped Fournette in the red zone 35-20 last year. So it's a pretty good match for Ronald Jones.
Yeah.
Dudes, what about we have a general question here, and we like our fans. We love our fans, and we consider everybody here family. I know I'm getting soft and emotional here.
I got friends, I got family. Except for Glash.
You should have seen when he texted me earlier. I almost flew off the handle, but I maintained my professionalism and I asked him to stop texting me. So, what is a good general NFL showdown lineup construction strategy? That's from ZY was asking. And that's a hashtag NFL and hashtag showdown. So this individual knows his social media. Yeah, just a general overall strategy. And that's going to be important for us to remind people of, as many of our shows on Sunday, gentlemen, will be in new markets, fresh markets around the country, new fans, new friends. So what would you say, Sweet Tea?
Yeah, I mean, it's game dependent. I don't think there's a general strategy for each showdown. I think historically what you want to do, or what's been beneficial and what's been what's been able to cash a lot is getting the both quarterbacks in, especially if it's going to be a high scoring game. And if that's the case, right, paying down a captain. If there is a glaring person like a Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson or someone of that ilk, someone of that nature that should be a captain, that's essentially a cheat code, right? The Rich Rebar Konami code, where they just accumulate so much points rushing, like a Taysom. I hate to say it, but like a Taysom Hill. If a guy like Jameis were to go down, Taysom Hill, if they're not priced right accordingly, and Jameis goes down midweek, then you could get Taysom Hill somewhere like that. Of course, should be a captain because of what he's able to do with his legs. But historically, paying down for a captain, and mostly honestly, like it's probably like the wide receiver ones that usually pay off at captains, especially in PPRs. Those are that's the one that you want to take advantage of too. Is like if you can get like a DK Metcalf 2 touchdown type of game. Get both of those quarterbacks in, Russell Wilson, whoever they're playing against, going back and forth. I think it's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, Geoff, your elevator pitch here. Someone says to you, "Oh my God, hey, I recognize you from that awesome episode of the Slate every Wednesday." Hey, sir, why have you here? Well, first off, you're so much taller than I expected. And what is a good general NFL showdown lineup construction strategy?
Literally, no one has ever said that last phrase about being taller than I expected, but. For lineups, look, generally most people when they're playing showdown, and again, I'm talking more general, they're playing massive contests, right? 100,000 people, 50,000, whatever great contest DraftKings is throwing out that week. So Reid hit it. If there's a guy you think has a 50% chance of being the top scorer, just put him in the captain, because you're going to punish the 70, the 80% of the people who just flex them. That's how you punish people. So this one, maybe not as clear. Dak and Brady, probably the most, the most obvious options. But this game doesn't have like the Kyler necessarily. Dak kind of maybe, but we just don't know what to expect from him because he's banged up and it's a tougher matchup. But to that point, you got to get a little bit. You got to like turn on your lizard brain. You got to think a little bit. Okay, most people aren't going to play Tom Brady with the Dallas defense because, if Tom Brady scores a lot of points, the Dallas defense isn't going to score any points. Well, what if the Dallas defense goes for like a special teams touchdown and a pick six? Then Tom Brady
threw one in week one last year. Sure.
Then Tom Brady's taking more snaps on the way back. And all of a sudden he's out more than Dak Prescott. So you've got to kind of almost go for these negative correlation plays because when they hit, nobody else has them. And you get a really unique lineup. And that's how you end up in like the top, 50 or top 10 of like one of these humongous contests. So again, that's just big field GPP strategy. But, the name of the game is don't get too fancy with the captain spot. Reid said it, if there's an obvious play up there, punish the people who don't put them up there. And again, with the stacking, again, you can, if there's an obvious wide receiver one, definitely. Those guys are all candidates. I mean, I think Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, I like the wide receiver ones from Dallas more in this game than Tampa, but it's still they're good captain's candidates for sure.
Geoff, what do you like? Sorry, Emerson, to cut you off, but something too that I thought was really helpful for me last year too was like a team stack, like even like fading one team, right? Because you want to be in showdown. It's one game, right? So it's not, you don't have like the 12 team slate. You have one game on this slate, so you got to get creative. Like Geoff mentioned, turning on your lizard brain, stacking one entire team. Like if you think Tampa Bay is going to beat Dallas by more than 9 points, you're seeing the arbitrage, you're seeing the information, right? The evidence there. This is what the algo, this is what Vegas, this is what all the sportsbooks think that Tampa Bay is going to be a glaring, dominant force in this game. Stacking all of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with like bringing it back with like a Dak is something also too that you can do. Is that no one, right? Most people, unless they got 150 or they're sharp, are going to stack an entire team. So that's also something too, that it's not just the players that give you leverage. It's also the game theory of how to think about it in a way where, most people aren't going to do this. How can I now leverage this and make it a smart play? Don't just do it to be different, like rostering 3 tight ends and a defense. Make sure it's part of the game narrative that makes the most sense to you.
Well, speaking of tight ends, Blue Apples says on YouTube, I know for a fact one of the 3 tight ends for Tampa is going to score. His next question, well, his first and only question, would you consider putting OJ Howard in one of your lineups? What do you think, Geoff? Doesn't look like he's a fan.
I would rather Scotty Miller. I'll just leave it at that. I'd rather Scotty Miller at those prices.
Sweet Tea, what do you think?
Man, he's such a good talent, right? Like he's such a talented player. There was like one, like, was it 2 years ago where he had like the most like 60 plus plays of any like player for going for touchdowns. But he just like, again, his path to success is much, much harder than a guy like Scotty Miller. We've seen Scotty Miller archetype receivers work well in a Brady offense. This is Byron Leftwich, but Brady offense, really. So yeah, I'm much more on the Scotty Miller train as opposed to OJ Howard.
All right, at another sports book that we will not name, I'm seeing this tweet. Someone has placed a $1,000 bet on Chase Claypool to lead the NFL in receiving touchdowns this season. The potential payout would be $91,000.
That ain't bad. I mean,
and
look.
He quote tweeted it and goes, "Dad, is that you?" What do you think? Oh, yeah, come on, right? You got $1,000, just do it.
Like, okay, so who does he have to really, like, he has to beat out a ton of people, right? Obviously. Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley. These are number ones now on their team. They're not number 2s or 3s. Like, is Chase Claypool the number 1 in Pittsburgh?
He's got enough weapons there.
Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson. Look, like, could he
Juju?
do it? Right, like, it all predicates on Ben. What you have to realize, too, from a meta sort of standpoint with receivers, and this is not rocket science, is they're tethered to their quarterback, right? Like Ben Roethlisberger, yes, he's going to throw more than he's going to run because he can't run anymore. Are they going to throw 600 plus times? I don't know, right? Does Ben have that in his like? Is that how they want to win? Look, they spent a lot of draft capital on Najee Harris. Does the offense kind of go through, a lot of players as opposed to just one, right? That would be something that I'm a little bit worried about with Chase Claypool because he's not even number 1 on his team.
Yeah. Claypool has the talent to do this. He really does. This guy is absolutely otherworldly. So from the perspective of risk reward, like to the odds we're getting here or whatever they are in the DraftKings Sportsbook, or if this is up for offer there, the general odds you're going to get on this prop is going to be good enough, in my opinion, because the talent is good enough. I mean, at some point, this guy is going to take over the number 1 wide receiver role. But to Reid's point, Juju, Deontay Johnson, both very good at getting open in the slot. Then you've got Najee Harris now. Like, is there going to be enough? Is there going to be enough for him to go? Who led the league in receiving touchdowns last year? Anyone know off the top of their head?
Wasn't it? Wasn't Steph Diggs? No, he led in yards. Hold on, I can check that. I can't.
No. What about what's his nuts out in Arizona?
DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, it was DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins with 18.
Oh,
so
man.
Again, Tyreek Hill 15.
I guess that. I didn't look that up, so good on me.
I mean, there's probably just not going to be enough for Chase Claypool to get there. I mean, we're talking about a guy in DeAndre Hopkins, 149 targets. Claypool gets like 120 targets next year. It's going to be an insanely good season for him, but he's probably not going to get up to those heights. So
wait a minute.
I would say it's probably
it wasn't
not
Devontae Adams?
No, Devontae
Claypool's
Adams.
times.
Yeah, Devontae Adams had 18.
I was like, damn, dude. No, you were definitely saying DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm like, keep going, dude, because you're making me look good. And he had 6.
Did I say DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, I think
but it's just because I said
yeah.
40 slip.
But like, look, I mean, that offense, Rodgers had a 9.2% touchdown rate. This guy was on the scorch the earth, right? Like, farewell tour essentially. Well, he came back, so
it's
right.
back again. No, this is
Back
another
again.
farewell tour for him. It's like
the
his
Rolling
8th one.
Stones, like Elton John and Rolling Stones. Like, here's your 15th farewell tour, but I'll buy the ticket.
Me too.
It's either that, it's Tyreek Hill, right? It's these high-powered offenses that maybe go above and beyond their production and their expected rate of success. But Adam Thielen had 14. He had a huge increase in red zone targets last year. And then Justin Jefferson, obviously, right? He's someone that I take a look at. Like Travis Kelce had 11. AJ Brown had 11. Like Robert Tonyan had 11. Like, you gotta be in that upper echelon of offense, which Pittsburgh can be, but they also play strong defenses in their division, and they don't play in domes, right? Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers are fantastic. But look, Tyreek Hill, they don't play in a dome, but Adam Thielen, right? Like these guys, they have a little bit better in terms of the later parts of the season, might have a little bit better run rate. Calvin Ridley, for instance, is not going to have to play in like 10-degree weather at some point. Not to say that's the only factor, but if you're looking at, most receiving touchdowns, Claypool is an uphill battle, but that's part of what you want to do with these features, right? Like you want to find these guys that are sort of in these ranges that can absolutely produce. I mean, Terry McLaurin, he's got a YOLO quarterback now, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's at plus 4,000. Like, is that someone that like Julio Jones at plus 3,500? What if something happens to AJ Brown? Then you're getting a number 1 alpha dog in Tennessee with their offense not changing one bit from last year when they were one of the best offenses in terms of point production. So, like, I don't mind it, but I think there's like Chase Claypool is here at plus 5,000 on the DK Sportsbook. But I mean, there's a lot of guys in this range that I might feel a little bit more comfortable with.
You guys feel comfortable talking about some Ryder Cup for the last 10 minutes of the show?
Whew.
Or should we wait a little longer? I know one.
You're the captain of this ship.
No, dude, we literally all have a hand on the wheel. I'm not that guy. I just want to come and hang out.
Is it like a magic school bus wheel?
Why don't we hit up the lines first? We haven't talked about our favorite lines or anything, and then
I am totally cool with that. I know you mentioned that in the chat earlier, so I think we should honor your request since you asked so politely. Let's go. What do you want to do? You want to do kind of like a pick 'em thing? You want to rip through it and just talk about which team you like real quick?
Let's see how fast we can get through this. Let's be anti-candy and go really fast.
Are you guys on this show the rest of the week by any chance, or no? Tomorrow or Friday?
I believe so.
Not that I know of.
The slate?
Oh, the slate? No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Well, then, let's do it. Let's go ahead. You want to give your picks?
Yeah.
All right. Eamon can keep track. This will be a thing every Wednesday. I love it. This is great and wonderful. Okay.
And it's just pick them, right? Or we are picking against the spread.
Oh, damn. I really wish I knew you were going to ask that follow-up.
Well, I mean,
what do you want to do, Geoff?
I mean, I'm an against the spread guy, but I don't really care either way.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Perfect. All right, go ahead. What's the first one on the screen? 49ers, Lions.
Geoff, you can take this one.
Oh, 49ers. Easy. By a million.
Yeah, 49ers by a billion. Brandon Ayuk, love him. Raheem Mostert, love him. Trey Sermon, love him. Put him on your DFS lineup as much as you can.
This is like what we used to do at the end of SNY last season. You and Bukes just ripping through it. This is good. I'll slow us down. Eagles and the Falcons. Reid.
Oh, I know Geoff loves the Eagles, but look, I'm kind of keen on Falcons and Matt Ryan getting Arthur Smith. Like when he gets a good OC, Geoff, he does pretty well, right? We know what he can do with a really good OC. So I'll go just Falcons here, laying 3 at home against Philly. A little worried about Jalen, little worried.
Oh boy.
Oh, Jeff picked Devontae Smith, by the way, as a Slater per pick the other day.
I
In
really
DFS.
like Devontae Smith for week 1, and I do like the Eagles here. I would rather this line get up to 3.5 or 4, which I think it will by go time. But I think the Eagles can win this outright. But I mean, against the spread, 3 points, you can get 3.5. That's perfect.
Steelers, Bills, Jeff.
I'll take the underdog again here. I just don't think there's enough respect to Pittsburgh. I think at the end of the day, the Bills defense isn't dominant. I think the Steelers are going to be able to move the ball with their elite wide receiver core. And this will be, I think Josh Allen will win the game, but I think it's going to be close. So I got to take the Steelers. Again, you want to try and get 7, but 6.5, I'd still take Pittsburgh.
What do you think, Sweet Tea?
Yeah, the 7, if you want to go on the Steelers side, I think is what you need. Buffalo is just in such a good spot right now. Brian Daboll's back with Josh Allen. That's going to be huge for Allen's career in this season. So laying 6.5 against that Mike Tomlin team, that's a lot. So against the spread, I got to go with Geoff here and the Steelers. You got up to 7, but for parity and for this thing, I'll go Buffalo.
Sam Darnold revenge game. Oh man. This one I'm most excited about. All right, Jets, Panthers. What are you doing here, Reid?
What about Robbie Anderson? It's also Bobby
Oh,
Anderson.
yeah. You're exactly right. I apologize. My apologies to Robbie Anderson.
This one's tough because I do like Zach Wilson and Elijah Moore from a DFS GPP standpoint, but the Jets defense, and look, even Carolina's defense is bad. Like Carolina's defense is bad right now. I just from a Carolina side, right, from talent perspective, let's be honest, it's going to be Carolina, but laying 5.5 for Carolina is a little bit scary. So I'll actually go Jets ATS. I do think Carolina wins this, but I think the Jets cover.
Joffrey.
There's no way I'm trusting Sam Darnold to cover 5.5 points. Not in a million years. Yeah, I'll just take the Jets out of attrition. I don't like either of these teams, though.
How do you feel then about Cardinals Titans? Which side you falling on? It's 3 points right now.
Titans, this one's easy. -3 Titans. They're not getting enough respect. They're basically saying these two teams are equal. The Titans have been the better team clearly the last 2 years. I don't know why they should be. This line is a couple points off to me. Titans.
Sweet tea.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. Look, Arizona last year was getting disrespected a little bit too against San Francisco, and they came out. They won a straight up. And they were getting like 10 points or 8 points. Now it's a different story from last year to this year. AJ Brown is dealing with some nagging injuries, Geoff. I don't know if that's I think he's going to be fine. But if that's the case, I think Arizona right now +3 ain't bad. But yeah, Tennessee right now looks like the better team. So I'll go with them as well.
Yeah, dude, he didn't practice today.
No, he didn't.
Ahead of their game. Seahawks, Colts, Reid.
Seattle by 1,000. Give me Russ Wilson, DK Metcalf. The guy has a body that looks like it was sculpted from the gods. Let's be honest. Not
chiseled
like
out of granite. I get it all the time on elevators.
Not like you. I'm not scared of Indy's defense at all. I think Russ Wilson is with the new OC now with Russell Wilson, you're going to see him cook. You're going to see him cook like he did the last 4 games of the last season. So give me Seahawks -2.5 on the road. Not scared at all.
What about Chris Carson? Let's not sleep on him. I really need him to have a great year.
Team?
No, he's not. Jeff, go ahead, dude. What do you think? Which side?
Yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz is going to be starting whatever. That's just going to keep the line at 2.5. Might even get down to 2. That's good. The Colts aren't even starting their best quarterback. So, Seahawks. This one's easy.
This one's pretty much a pick 'em here. Chargers, Washington football team. Jeff.
This is a tough game to pick, but I got to go with Washington. I'm not sure why they're the underdogs here. Doesn't feel like they're getting any respect. Top 3 defense from last year. West Coast team traveling east. I know it's week 1, but you got a rookie head coach going against Ron Rivera. I like the Chargers a lot. I think they're a really interesting team. Like Herbert, this is just a tough matchup, and I think Washington is better than people are giving them credit for right now.
Reid.
Yeah, at home. They're dogs at home. Yeah, even though I know it's pick 'em, but give me a break. Washington football team, Super Bowl season, baby.
Wow.
All right, Vikings, Bengals, dude.
I'm gonna go Viking. Actually, I'm gonna go Bengals getting the points here. I'm not convinced. I'm Dalvin Cook, obviously against his team. Justin Jefferson, this offense against his team. I think it's gonna be a high scoring one. I think it goes over the 47. But I like Cincy getting the points here, Geoff.
Yeah. I feel like I'm walking into a trap picking Cincinnati, but I'm going to do it anyways because I just don't like the Vikings. Clear, period. I just don't really like Mike Zimmer. Don't like the Vikings. I'll take the Bengals, but it really just doesn't. It just feels like another lost season for Cincinnati. But I'm big Joe Burrow fan, and if this dude is even 90%, I do feel like they're going to make this competitive. So I'll take
Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, DFS.
Yeah.
Love him.
Jeff is not a fan of Mixon, though, who I ended up, because of that, I drafted him on 2 teams. All right, hey, let's just bring it home with this one here. America's team, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Texans. Jags are 3-point road favorites. This is the Lord and Savior of the franchise, under center, making his first career start, coming off his best preseason performance in his entire NFL career. Reid, please tell me.
We can't end on this one. This is
what do you mean? Okay, all right. We'll do one more. And I'll go save the last minute for Ryder.
I'll go Houston getting the points, and that does not make me whatever. I just can't. Jacksonville being favored. I don't think so.
I honestly.
The disrespect thrown by not a friend of the show, Reid Fowler. Of course, it's the Jags here, Emerson. Don't worry, I got your back. Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, they're going to run fast pace. Houston has they just traded away their best corner. The Texans, they're actively trying to lose games.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks might not even
the
be
Jags are honestly going to be they're going to win big in week 1. I do like this.
Thank you. And you know what? It's going to lead Sports Center. It is going to be the lead. Every single sports network on the planet, even in Guam. All right, which one do you want to bring it home with? Oh, hey, speaking of Jacksonville, you want to do Packers Saints here, dudes? That's in Jacksonville.
Oh, true. Yeah, nice little segue there.
Thank you.
Not a fan of the Saints right now. I think they have a lot of question marks, and they're not good openers in their season. If you look at their ATS record in week 1, not great. So giving the Packers here -3.5.
Yeah, everyone's excited about Jameis Winston starting. Who cares? He doesn't have anyone to throw to. He's like Will Smith in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, looking around the room. He's going to be thrown to the Packers all game because he has no one else to throw to. So yeah, Packers -3.5.
Hold on, Eamon's typing. Does this mean we only have a few minutes left, Eamon? Just let me know, dude. All right, let's just do Pats and Dolphins too, because we're a Boston-based company. Geoff,
this is probably I don't want to bet on this game because it is tight. It's got a low game total. God, I'll take the Patriots. I think the Patriots defense is going to be a difference maker in this game, and they might even get a score or something. I think people are really kind of overlooking how big the Patriots defense could bounce back this year. Damian Harris running through those holes in the Miami line. I'm going to take the Patriots, but admittedly, you got so many factors with the rookie QB. It's not one of my favorites, but I would lean New England.
They're going to shred Tua, who wasn't even named a captain, for crying out loud. Reid, go ahead, bring us home with this one.
That's minutia.
No, it's not, dude. That means something.
Jalen Hurts was named a captain in Philly.
Oh. Go ahead, Reid.
No. Like, everyone loves this Mac Jones, and he's the Lord and Savior of the New England Patriots. He's a rookie quarterback going up against a Bill Belichick disciple and Brian Flores, who probably of all the disciples, because it usually doesn't work out for them, has done the best.
Good Bill Belichick disciple.
Right. Look, he's done the best, though. Like, honestly, right? Like, Charlie Weiss, like, all of these guys have done really bad, and Brian Flores at least is treading water. Secondary is really good in Miami. I know this is in New England, and all the Patriot fans are like, okay, we're back here. No, this is Mac Jones against the secondary. Doesn't matter if his girlfriend is helping him figure out routes in the playbook in their backyard for Mac Jones. I don't care. Give me Miami Dolphins getting 3 points.
Wow. She did that for him at Alabama, too. It paid off. It worked out well for him.
It's nice. Dolphins 5-2. ATS in their last 7 games.
Fowler, not a friend of Bostonians and not a friend of love either.
No, he's not. That'd be like me sitting over Meg's shoulder at work when she's pounding away like on scripts. I'm like, honey, it's actually a hyphen, not a semicolon there.
That's lazy. Hyphen is lazy in literature.
You go. I'm telling you, people, it's a really, really strong
versatile
hyphen. You can never go wrong.
Nope,
never go wrong. Well, good stuff. I'm glad we got to get to the Ryder Cup because that definitely prepared a lot for that. So that's really awesome.
Whistling straights,
really
Emerson. You need distance off the tee. That's why I think he went with Stricker. It was chalky picks, right? The picks that he had, but you need distance off the tee.
Honestly, Stricker didn't.
6 rookies.
There's
6 rookies on the American side.
You pick the best players. That's all you have to do. The American team is loaded. You throw in it. I made a couple jokes on Twitter today. You throw in wild card elements like a Na or a Reid. Who knows how people are going to react? Just take the best players. Don't screw it up. That's what he did.
And last thing, I'm going to drop a name here. Bryson mentioned that they need continuity on this team, and that's what they need to beat. Like,
what about with the Bryson Brooks thing though, dude? Because Tiger and Phil like ruined every team they were on together. They sucked.
It's not a big deal. People are making more of a deal out of it.
You want to make a bet, bud? No, just kidding.
I'll bet by
man.
the end of the Ryder
That's
Cup,
it.
we get like a bro shake hug from Brooks and Bryson.
Let's slap them quickest.
Well, if they win, yes, and both of them play a key role. If they win, yeah, I do think the 13 combined majors for the Americans will kind of help offset that youth and inexperience.
Good team.
You know?
And
speaking of good team,
sets the Ryder Cup for years to come too.
Already the highest rated show on the NFL season.
I love you guys. Thanks, Andrew, on the ones and twos, and Eamon for putting up with us. I told you, there's just no structure to this. That's what's beautiful about it. It's just a bunch of guys sitting around. Didn't get to work in the dogs a whole lot, but we got to go. We were supposed to be off air 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, we started a little late. Someone was worried about talking about a marriage of some sort, but congratulations, though. Right? Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Andrew, on the ones and twos.
Yeah.
Smooth sailing from here, buddy. See you, everyone.
Peace.